You get in here to see a better look at the scene, where around these two men, several of the graves have been dug up and huge mounds of fresh, dark earth are piled all around these gaping holes. The cemetery sprawls out before you. It's quite large. Two strangely swollen men are holding shovels, digging here. Oh, keep back, the masters. And you can see, as he turns around to look, he's got a handkerchief tied all the way around the bottom half of his face. You can only really see the top of his head. Oh, come closer. These ones right with the plague. We are definitely fighting. As you get closer here, you can see a couple of things all at once. One, that the graves all have opened coffins, the corpses inside shriveled, like the skin suits you'd seen back at the Lindell barn. All bones and meat from within them seemingly sucked out and removed. And as you get a little closer to these men, you can see clearly that their skin is hanging very loosely around their frame.
What?
Yucky! Yucky! Yuck! Ew!
I'm gonna roll some initiative, my friends. And this guy hefts up a shovel to bap him. You see the guy in the back drops his and opens his mouth wide. You're up first.
I don't like that. That's not good.
As you slam into him, you hit a solid wall. The skin over his body and under his clothes here is sagging and hanging loosely. But as you squish it back into something solid and sturdy inside him, you shunt him back a bit. But as he hits the guy behind him, it's completely beyond you to move. This is not human strength.
Great.
He's going to kind of shuck both of his hands, slinging the skin up onto the fists, trying to get it back around the knuckles as he grins and steps up towards Lizard.
What?
Selwyn.
Well, I'm fucking afraid. I'm in danger.
Steps up forward towards Lizard Man, but he only takes a small little step as his jaw opens further. You hear a crack as the bones inside the man's skull are crunched and destroyed, and you see a very different maw erupt out from his mouth. A worm. The front end of it opened to 4 jagged tendrils like a flower with a spiked tongue in the center, shoots out of the man's mouth, and just with a wet flop, his skin drops into a pile on the ground behind him.
So it's got this huge maw. I'm going to reach my hand in and then rake my claws up like along its throaty throat mouth.
It's throat mouth.
Dirty throat mouth.
Hands at my sides, open them up. Swirling cloud of cloudness around the man and lightning strikes. Take the Tempest Surge.
Magic, is it then? Nagan's Mayhem! With that, as you see this black energy rack up into Lizard Man, he is going to lose his grip and tumble down onto the floor before him. Right in front of the worm, which rears back and opens its maw up to jump into Lizard Man.
Oh god.
Zerg.
Not so good so far.
I love it.
Or 16.
He's clumsy, and he stumbles as he goes to avoid this, but it just barely catches on the back of his head and just drags the loose flesh around him, turning his face to the side of his skull.
Oh no.
So you can see the movement of the jaw now, just in the flesh beneath his ear, and his
I wish I
face
hadn't
just
done
hanging
that.
limp on the side, but it doesn't do any actual damage. At the -10 raging swing, let's see it.
24, so 14.
14 doesn't do it.
Okay.
You knee him backwards, and it just wrenches, and you hear the skeleton inside crack as you break the vertebrae in his neck, the worm itself having withdrawn. And now, in addition to his face being sideways, his head is just loosely hanging on his back.
This is fucking gross, dude.
And I'm going to chant some words in Druidic, and lightning is going to course around his body as I'm attempting to heal him from here, stitch him together a little bit. Which is a D8 plus 8, right?
D8 plus 8, yep.
One day. For 14.
14 health restored to Lizard as he wakes up on the floor here. You're wounded, one, and prone. But as you knock this dude's head back, Zerg, the skull flops. You, from behind Arbus and Selwyn, you can see from the side, the worm's tongue shoot out of the man's mouth, punching through the side of the skull as it starts to dig its way out. And the one on top of Lizard Man getting ready to eat the corpse as this magic fills his body and brings him back to life. Both of the worms scream in agony at the sight. The one in front of Zerg twitching, convulsing, and dropping to the ground dead. While the one next to Lizard is clearly physically debilitated by watching him being brought back to life.
What? That is the strangest fucking weakness I've seen in my goddamn life.
Selwyn.
Wait a minute. So my healing him freaked them out? That's...
Yes, then they took mental damage and you killed one of them.
What? That's crazy.
That's awesome. I'll move up behind this grave.